the struggle. I was there. I saw it. So it's like, man, another blow to the community, and ain't nothing we could do about it.
Yeah, we have nothing. So I don't know what we're gonna do. There's nothing around here. No stores. This is basically the only store you can come to. That you get fresh produce and get groceries for little or nothing.
So reportedly, there are around 7 grocery stores in Chicago that are shutting down or on the verge of shutting down. And he said there's nothing we can do about it. In reality, a community is a sum of the people who live in that area, along with what they own, what they do, and what they produce. If I was going to respond like the average Black person would about this situation, I would say, they're going to create food deserts and these businesses should not shut down. It's going to make Black people's situation even worse. That is a bunch of useless lip service. In reality, Black people can do something about it, but it requires Black people, to become better. If you want businesses to open up in areas, there needs to be a reason, an incentive for them to open up a business in that area. That incentive is going to be profit. But if their people aren't safe, if they're not stealing, if people don't have money, why would someone open up a business to lose money? They have to invest money, time, energy, resources into creating something. The goal of them creating that is for it to turn a profit. So rather than giving useless lip service, the question actually becomes, okay, how do we incentivize people to want to open businesses in areas where Black people are? And the simple answer to that is Black people becoming better. That is the primary thing. Less crime, more accountability, better decision-making when it comes to who they're having children with and raising children properly. Actually ensuring that your children aren't out in the community stealing and causing or creating a nuisance. Learning and teaching soft skills. Learning and teaching what actually allows a community to thrive and be successful. Teaching that, hey, when you go rob or break in or steal something from the community, you're not just hurting that business, you're hurting everyone around. Because when enough people do that, these businesses will close down. And now the people who were getting products and services from that business have to drive further to get them. There's no more jobs because that business closed. The tax revenue is gone because that business closed. On top of that, you're going to disincentivize people from investing into that area because businesses are closing down due to crime and their employees not being safe. The answer to what we can do about the situation is Black people becoming better. It's not the white man, it's not the past, it's not history. It's us becoming better and giving investors and people a reason to want to invest their hard-earned capital into Black areas. And right now, there's not a strong enough incentive. So rather than complaining about what we don't have, the question is, what do we do to get to the point where we can have? Now, there's a difference between something being simple and easy. I'm saying it's simple. I'm not saying it's easy. It's going to take a lot of work. But it's on us to become better and acknowledge reality. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Don't forget I have a free email newsletter. I send that out every morning around 7 a.m. Central. The link is in my profile. I hope to see you there.
Guys, you are not alien to the development in Chicago. It's literally everywhere on the internet and in the media space right now. About 7 grocery stores, shutting down, and Chicago gradually becoming, a food desert. And these are attributable to a lot of factors. Why are they leaving? Why are these grocery stores shutting down? Why are these business closing? Credit to regional content creators, like the video the other man, which I just shared, mentioned and pointed out factors, safety of businesses within the environment, void of crime. The environment around the business premises must be that very conducive for investors to come in. And so if it's not sufficient enough for the government to invite investors or get people to build up or to make up businesses in those places if they are not going to be safe. One of the things that people look out for in business is the safety, how conducive the environment, how friendly it is. And right now, Chicago doesn't have that. The crime wave in Chicago is quite alarming. So we have couple of videos we want you to look at, and when we come back, we analyze the subject matter. If you're coming across my YouTube channel, feel free to hit the notification button, hit the subscription button, so that when we bring updates, you'll be the first to be notified. So let's dive right in, guys.
7 grocery stores just closed in Chicago, and it's already not looking good. The stores, known as Save-A-Lot grocery stores, have closed down 7 of their locations: Inglewood, West Lawn, Auburn, Gresham, West Garfield Park, West Pullman, South Chicago, and South Shore, despite a $13.5 million investment from the city to fight food deserts. The chain said that the main reason behind this was the financial stress. They just couldn't keep up. Many online are saying that changing consumer habits will do that to you. In fact, they saw a 26% drop in SNAP and EBT sales. The main concern for the locals here are the seniors or those on fixed income unable to travel farther outside of the city to get to other stores, essentially creating a food desert. Residents are furious, saying that they feel lied to. They thought that this government-funded grocery store would work. I mean, $14 million in investments, and they couldn't recoup any of it or make any sort of financial turnaround whatsoever. It really does make you think. Sorry for the lack of posting, by the way, on this page specifically. I got married, and I'm currently trying to build out an office. As you can see, it's still pretty messy. We're getting it all pieced together, but make sure to follow, because once I get this set up, I'll be able to produce some nicer, high-quality.
Heard that. And so I'm going to go ahead and break this down very simple, because they're making a major deal about this because it happened in a low income community in Chicago. But I'm going to break this down very simple for everybody to understand. You had a business that decided to open up in a low income neighborhood, and then that business had to shut down because the low income neighborhood could not support that business. That's it. That's it. That's the whole story right there. You decide to open up a business, especially something like a grocery store that already has low margins to begin with, and you're doing it in a low income neighborhood, and you mean to tell me a cut to SNAP? And we're going to get into that in a moment. I'm going to read you some numbers off of this because they wouldn't tell you the whole story about the whole SNAP thing. But the cut to SNAP was enough where it destroyed your business just like that? So you mean to tell me you couldn't survive unless you're getting government handouts? And so, before we even get into what I'm talking about here, let me jump into the next clip, and they're going to tell you a little bit more information. And then I'm going to come back with the information on SNAP that really tells you the full picture of why these stores end up closing. Take a listen to this.
Good evening. We're so glad you're here. I'm Allison Rosati.
And I'm Alex Maragos in for Stephen Holt. First here at 5 o'clock. Save-A-Lot grocery stores across Chicago could close this summer. All 7 locations could be shut down after the company decided to end its partnership with the grocery operator Yellow Banana.
NBC5's Rose Schmidt on the story for us. She's in the newsroom right now. And Rose, we understand you talked to customers.
7 grocery stores are about to close for good.
We have heard this before. The Save-A-Lot stores are on the south and west sides, and without them, the loss could create another food desert. Joni Lemon.
Parents, Save-A-Lot gave the city of Chicago notice. It is cutting ties with the owner of those 7 stores, Yellow Banana, and on Saturday those stores will close. Now there is an effort to try to stop that from happening, but it looks like shoppers will need to prepare. The Save-A-Lot grocery stores are in Englewood, West Lawn, Auburn Gresham, West Garfield Park, West Pullman, South Chicago, and South Shore. The Save-A-Lot company said in a statement dramatic cuts to SNAP benefits severely impacted these stores, along with other financial challenges. Plus, the CEO of Yellow Banana, which owned the stores, died suddenly. Save-A-Lot cut ties with Yellow Banana, and now there's an effort to try to make other arrangements or find a new tenant. 13th Ward Alderman Marty Quinn says senior citizens in his ward will have a hardship if those stores close.
Whether that is to keep Save-A-Lot or to find a new tenant, but we're in desperate need of being able to sell groceries at 63rd and Kilbourne, because the alternative is residents will have to go into the suburbs. So we are a food desert for certain. My hope is that for the residents, for the employees that could be out of work, that we're able to find a solution soon to keep the lights on.
Thanks. Otherwise, we read it. So he's working with other city departments to find some kind of solution, but
I know the struggle. I was there. I saw it. So it's like, man, another blow to the community, and ain't nothing we could do about it.
Again, we have nothing. So I don't know what we're going to do. There's nothing around here. No stores. This is based on the store you can come to. That you get fresh produce and, get groceries for little or nothing.
Boy. So we got to talk about Chicago. Southside Chicago, as several Chicago supermarkets are facing closure. Okay, they are evacuating. They're leaving the Southside, aka the hood, because we already know, right? Crime, chaos. They can't make money. Apparently, they're also blaming SNAP Okay, they're blaming the federal government, aka blaming Trump, because, you know, they cut back on the welfare. And when you cut back on the welfare, apparently the black community struggles, or the businesses in the black community struggle. And that's what's happening out in Chicago. And the residents are now outraged. They're outraged. They're upset over the fact that these stores are leaving. Okay, it's about 7 Save-A-Lot branded stores. They're leaving, and, you know, they're boohoo whining crying food desert, right? Pretending as if there's no way for them to get access to food, just because.
So welcome back, guys. This subject matter of, you know, grocery stores walking out of Chicago is becoming a source of concern as the government battles to try to see if it could reach some reconciliation. You know, when you consider that 15 million US dollars was invested in this to yield interest, and it's shutting down is real bad news. They're blaming it on Donald Trump's, you know, cuts on tariffs, cuts on incentives to businesses, that is the reason why it is, you know, shutting down. Others say it is traceable to bad governance and all those crazy policies that have been put in the place of the Democrats. Others are saying it's because of the insecurity and situation in Chicago. But only Chicagoans can give us a real feedback of the real situation of the subject matter on ground. So I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comment section. Please do go to hit the subscription button, hit the notification button, so that when we bring new updates, you'll be the first to be notified. See you on my next video.